This is Moments with Foo with James Foo Torres, better known as Foo, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Moments with Foo is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Foo.
Hello and welcome to Moments with Foo. I'm your host, James Foo Torres, but you can call me Foo, hence the name of the podcast. And today I have Michael Pacheco, which he is the founder and managing partner of Boxer Media. I'm going to let him tell you more about that. But first, Michael, how are you?
Doing great, Foo. How are you doing?
Doing good. Just feeling good about life in general. The only bad thing is it's rainy season in Oregon. So that's definitely my least favorite season. But it's grinding season then because I don't go out, right? I just work hard. So that's cool.
Yeah. And we had an Indian summer. It just started. I'm in Southwest Washington, so we're not far from each other. And I think the rains just started 4 days ago. We had pretty much October was basically late summer.
Right? That was incredible. I couldn't believe that. I think I even went to the lake for a little bit on October, like October 1st or 2nd or something. It's like it was like high 80s and I was like, what? It was crazy. But that's good because summer, it started kind of late though, right? So that was cool because it was like we got like June 20 something got hot. We got gifted that October. So that was cool.
Yeah, we got on the back end.
Yeah. Yeah. So now that our audience knows our location but doesn't know much more about you, so let's first introduce yourself and your company.
Sure. So my name is Michael Pacheco, of course. I'm the founder, managing partner of Boxer Media and Growth Marketing. We are a marketing company, believe it or not, a marketing agency. We work primarily with coaches and consultants, although we do, have some other types of businesses in our client roster as well. We focus primarily on four things. One of them is social omnipresence. That's kind of social media marketing. One is SEO. Another is LinkedIn outreach, and another is messaging and branding. And those are kind of our four, you could call them our core competencies.
Awesome. Very, very important stuff right now. LinkedIn, best work social media. Branding, it's just the core, right? Like where that anchor that ties everything together. And just being omnipresent right now, there's so much noise that you have to show up a lot and show up with authority. That's why we kind of connected because that partnership of like, hey, like I want to have everybody like omnipresent, but I need the authority piece. And then I came in with that authority piece, and you have given me advice on the other side. So it's pretty cool how we connected like that way.
And it's funny that you mentioned that word authority, because so what we call right now today is called social omnipresence. The original kind of name that we had for that service product was authority creator. So that's exactly what it is, right? So it's creating and establishing your authority in whatever business industry niche that you're in.
Yeah, just to take over your space, right? And just establish yourself as a thought leader, right? It's all those like keywords that we all use, seems like, right? So because everybody wants to be seen as the authority, because when you're the authority, then there's no need to keep looking around when I already know that I have the best, right? Like I can see it, like I see people talking about you, and I see you featured in the media, I see you showing up everywhere. Those are key components for you to feel more, I call them trust indicators and green flags, right? When you see those green flags, you see those trust indicators, you feel way more confident about working with that person. So that's why it's so important. And now I want to take it to a very important question. I think this is my favorite question of the podcast, which is, what's taking most of your attention right now and why?
What is taking most of my attention right now? That's a good question. The honest answer is my daughter. My wife and I, we just had our first child. She's almost 8 months old. She was born on March 1st. And so she's taking up most of my personal attention. Professionally, which is what I suspect was the goal of your question.
No, personal and professional they're not that divided though, right? Like, because I mean, everything that is personal, like it relates to our professional, like that's it's our life, and they are together in that. So that's why it's cool that you said that about your personal, that because it's part of it.
It's 100% part of it, and for me, it's it's a big part of my why I do what I do, and I'm working from home right now. Right, this is my home office. My daughter's upstairs with my wife right now. They're jamming around, making breakfast or something. I don't know. But professionally, what's taken most of my attention professionally right now is probably this idea and the continuing build out of our social omnipresence service product. It's something that we see every day. We see more and more demand for it. You've heard it over and over again. You got to be on social media. You got to post content. Content is everything. Content is king. Blah 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 blah.
Multiple times a day type stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, because you see Gary V, Bradley, Alex Hormozy, they have become kind of like the gold standards now, because you see them all the time, and it's like Bradley was following the advice of Gary V, right? And Alex Hormozy also did the same thing, and now they're teaching other people. It's like, hey, show up, like just all the time. They invest in so much money now; they're the gold standard, the people that we look up to. So obviously, we want to do that too.
And don't forget Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone was an early adopter of this idea of being omnipresent on all the social platforms as well. And so basically what we did is we looked at their social media accounts. We looked at what they were doing, primarily Gary V and Grant Cardone. Alex Hormozy, of course, is big name now, but he's very new to the scene, or to the, socially omnipresent scene.
In the mainstream, like, all right, because he was in the shadows for the longest time, and then he realized, I saw a video, it's like when he saw that Kylie Jenner became the youngest billionaire, he got mad. He was like, what, like, how is he doing this? And then she realized, it's like, oh, it's the branding. And that's when he clicked for him, and that's when he started doing all this social omnipresency, because he realized, oh, I need to build a brand to be able to take it to the next level. And like, weird enough that he learned it from Kylie Jenner. So, in a way, that was the trigger, that because he got so mad about it that it triggered him. It's funny.
Yeah. So I mean, so we looked at accounts like Gary V and Grant Cardone, and basically reverse engineered what they're doing. And so what's taking up most of my attention right now is continuing to build that out, making it a more robust system, looking at our processes and our SOPs, and really focusing on, again, just making it more robust and making it more scalable, so that we can do more for more people. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then when it comes to a little bit more like specific about this, so are you taking an approach of prioritizing long form and then turning into short, or like, I just want to know, because I'm personally, trying to learn about this, because like always, I'm learning in my podcast, so that's why I'm asking these questions.
We work kind of a little bit custom for every one of our clients, right? So we've got a number of clients where they are podcasters, like you, for instance, right? You could take this podcast and break it up into chunks of, we call them golden nuggets, right? You're looking for golden nuggets, and especially with long form content, you don't want to host all the long form content. You got to look for the golden nuggets within, and pull those out and extract those and turn those into little, social media snippets. So we have clients that have podcasts, and we'll take those podcasts and break that up. We also have clients that will just take their phone and they'll go on, do a little walk and talk, right? And they'll just jam on whatever their topic is. We have clients that struggle with creating their own content, and so we will send them, 3 topic ideas to talk about each week, and try and align those up so that what's posted on, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's a string where it's all connected. And so the content that someone is receiving from that person, from that influencer, the content that they're receiving is all going to be in alignment with the same call to action for a given week, right? Or with the same product, whatever they're selling, or with the same service if they're selling a service.
It's cool. That's cool. I really like that because I'm trying to get into that, right? I some weeks I do better than others, right? And that's why I'm always trying to find advice, right? To find people that are doing it, and should I prioritize long form? Should I do this? And I kind of want to, there's different things, and I just take a time. It's like when I feel inspired, I do like I set it up and I talk. Then if not, I always have the podcast, right? And then just going to other people's podcasts. So that way I'm the one actually giving golden nuggets more often. Because in here I can give here and there commenting, but it's a little tough because obviously I'm featuring you right here. So
yeah.
That's
and here's one thing that I'll say to that. James, Mr. Torres, Senior Torres.
Foo is fine. Like that's what
is you said, when you're inspired, you'll record something. You can't wait till you're inspired, man. You got to plan this stuff out, right? And be intentional about it. If you just wait till you're inspired, it'll never happen.
That's what's happening to me sometimes because I haven't developed the strategy. I literally have all the resources and components, right? Like I have them all and I have the ability, right? And the knowledge. It's like finding that middle ground of okay, like this is what you're going to be doing and it's not limiting, but it makes sense and it's going to attach to the written content, right? So like I'm like working on tweaking the written content so it matches. So it's not just like, oh, one post in here, right? So right now it's like I'm trying to jump in on stuff quick when I see like a trend or something that I can jump in quick, because if I don't take action, it's like save it or something, it's like, oh, the opportunity went by. And for like the structure, I just created that structure, and that's why like I wanted to talk to you so much, right? Like I invited you to the podcast and everything because I wanted to learn from you. Maybe after this we can create a little strategy and I can take it from there, because I love doing this because it's like it kind of forces me to take action.
I don't know I don't know, I'll throw this out here. I know like you've got kind of an agenda for these podcasts, but if it would be of value to your listeners to go through and create a strategy, I'm happy to do that with you on air if you want to do it right now.
I mean, hey, that the
totally
next part I usually talking.
You're running the show. You're driving the car, but
no, exactly. So that's what I was gonna say. That the next part that I go usually is I want to go into advice and challenges, right? That's like my next area. So perfect. This is, instead of just going like high level, maybe you can just advise me, right? Like that's the thing. So I'm down to do the strategy, and I think this is gonna be incredibly valuable. It could be great content too. So yeah, like take over and let me know what do I have to do.
Well, the first thing that I would do if you're waiting until you're inspired to create content, first thing that I would do is just make a little content calendar. Right? Use a spreadsheet, use Google Sheets or something, and just make a spreadsheet, make a calendar. We do it by work weeks. So there's 52 weeks in a year. This week, for example, this is work week 43 right now. And so we break all of our clients' content down into work weeks, and we'll try and work 2 weeks ahead so that we've got some slack built in. It doesn't always work for, like you said, short-term opportunities. Like if you see an opportunity to talk about something and you're going to wait and publish it 2 weeks later, sometimes 2 weeks later can be too late. So you want to build in flexibility into this.
And that's why, like, and this happens a lot to everybody. With my clients, I do this. So we break it out and like we have like weeks and stuff. And then like with me, it's like, I never like, it's just hard. It's like doing my own PR. I do PR great for people, but then doing my own PR is like, like I don't want to. So then, I mean, content calendar and breaking it into weeks, pretty generic and pretty good and something that I know, right? And it's just then breaking it down. Then after you have the weeks, like just breaking it out into the topics, then like 5 topics a week, or what do you think?
So again, I mean, there's a puzzle in marketing, right? There's the business goals, there's the customers, there's the product that you're selling, and there's the channels that you're selling it on. And by selling and marketing, right? These terms can be kind of exchanged at this point. So there's those kind of 4 pieces that you have to put together in the right puzzle. So first, I mean, let's talk about what you're selling. You're selling PR?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
mainly a little bit of branding too, especially because our main thing is content and publicity strategies. And everything is so you show up with authority, stop people from scrolling, not just volume, right? But then when we're gonna do that, we need to make sure that the branding is solid. Right. So then we work on the branding, make sure that everything is fine. Then we go into content publicity strategy. So that's basically how we do it. So mainly PR, but then sometimes we help like retainer clients into the branding too.
Real quick, define branding for me. The branding means different things to different people.
That's true. So for branding, we go into as deep into like what are the core values to like the colors to the logo, then also how that translates into the team, and then making sure that everybody's talking the same language and everything is cohesive. So that way, when we do the post, every time that we're creating, we're referring to this as the anchor, right? Like the core that everything stems from. So what we're saying and doing, supporting the mission and vision, the core values, right? That's kind of how we look at branding.
So you're looking at not only the physical assets, the logo, the colors, the typography, but you're also touching on some of these intangibles like team culture.
Because the team, if the communication, if the team is not in the same page, doesn't matter if you tell the leader, most times if they're hiring us, they're doing a bunch of other stuff and they want us to take care of that. So we come in and we train their team and we guide their team to not only the branding and the messages and everything, but also then so that translates into the marketing guidance too, right? Like this is what you should be posting here. We're gonna be posting this in here. There's gonna be an earned media piece that's gonna come out. Please make sure that in Facebook you're posting this other thing, right? So
okay. So that's the service product part of it. Now let's talk about software wants to update. Let's do that later. Thank you, computer.
Right.
So, my screen just got completely full of update requests. Let's talk about your goals. So what are your goals with this? Are you trying to get people to join an email list, to book a call with you, to visit your website? What's your...
My main thing with content is awareness. Is establish myself as an authority, as an educator, as like edutainment too, right? Like I want to be entertaining. I want people to feel something because I know that that's what is gonna make them remember me. And I'm not trying to sell necessarily. I'm trying to educate, entertain, get remembered, and if anything, lure them into my blue oceans, right? Like getting them into maybe my Slack. I don't like email, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of email, but I like to have them like in my Slack because that's my blue ocean, and having them to just kind of get behind, like, oh, subscribe to my podcast and I start engaging with my content, right? That's what I want, because after I have their attention, then I can throw in like, hey, like schedule a call, or I'll have links all over, right? That after they come to me, if they want to talk to me, they'll find a way. You know? That's how I see it.
So, okay, that sounds very Hormozy to me. Is that right? Is that about right?
Yes.
That sounds like Hormozy's strategy. Given your scale, well, let me rephrase that. Given Hormozy's scale, you're probably not able to produce content at that scale. I think he spends $40,000 a month or $70,000. I think $40,000 a month on his content.
I think last time I heard it was like 65,000 or something.
That might be. Yeah.
He keeps going up.
The man's a machine, and Layla too, for that matter, his wife. But I tend to recommend for our clients some kind of call to action on
and
everything.
Mix. I'm down to do mix too, right? Like I can do like, or mostly like videos 2 times a week, 3 times a week, and then have graphics, right? Like I have my admin person right now and graphic designer. He's designing a couple posts and stuff, and I like it because that way it's like there's written posts with call to action. Hey, just schedule a call with me, or talking about certain very specific things. That's like, oh, YouTube verification is wide open, right? That's something that we're pushing right now. Sometimes it's a podcast, very specific stuff. So there's call to action, but then I have like I'm educational too. Like I want to have it mixed so that way I don't have to be like, spending $1,000.
And I don't think it's a good idea to try and make a sale on every post. But even little calls to action, like on a post where you're just being educational and you don't necessarily want to ask people to schedule a call with you, you can just say something as simple as, like in the caption, if you want to learn more, shoot me a DM. Or there's more info, link in my bio for more info if you're interested. Something little like that. So that would be like, we're talking like overall strategy here, right? I would recommend some kind of call to action in every post. Because at the scale that you're at, you want to make every post count, right? You want to give every time someone sees a piece of content from you should be some opportunity for you to continue to get your message out, right?
And connect.
Right?
That's the main thing about social media is connecting, 100%. Right? Not mindless scrolling, right?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be a recommendation there. In terms of the assets created, right? We like to work with video as a source because from video, you can pull quotes and make little social media quote cards. You can do video snippets. You can pull the audio from it and make an audiogram. You can pull audio from the video and turn that into a podcast. It can be its own podcast. You can transcribe the audio from the video and turn that into a blog post. You can run. What's that?
Or an article.
100%. 100%. You can take that and then run that through a GPT-3 text spinner. So GPT-3, for those of you listening or watching that may not be familiar with what GPT-3 is, it's a very, what am I trying to say here? It's a kind of a high-tech artificial intelligence for writing software.
Okay, I never heard about that. GPT-3?
You familiar with Jarvis?
Oh, it's Jarvis?
Yeah, Jarvis is GPT-3.
Oh, so there's different, like GPT-3 is like the technology and then multiple people use it or what?
Yep, GPT-3 is the underlying technology.
Okay, I did not know about that. You see, I always say so much in my podcast. I love it. Oh, so GPT-3 is the technology that Jarvis uses, and I'm guessing that is licensed by a lot of other AI things, right?
Yep. So Jarvis is what you would call the point product, or the top layer software. And there's other, Jarvis is one of many that use the GPT-3 foundational, like artificial intelligence. That makes sense. So what you can do is you can take that transcription, that audio transcription, you can put it into Jarvis, and you can basically spin that text, which you can use for captions. You can use that then for another audiogram, right? Where you can turn it into a script for another video, even. And so you're riffing on the same topic, but in multiple ways.
I saw a piece of content in TikTok. It was like, hey, it's just the same with different hooks and worded differently. And then the one that hits, then, okay, boom, like this is the one. And that reminded me too of Gary Vee saying, organic is the best way to prove your content, your creatives. So then when you go to paid, you just take the winners of organic because it resonated with people, right? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And here's another sweet tip for YouTube. If you go into your YouTube studio, find your videos that are performing the best and promote those at $1 a day.
Okay. This is something I can apply with my clients right away. So this is
watch your subscriber count go up.
So maybe, I don't know. I gotta ask my client, because the strategic advisor board is growing at 100 subscribers per day approximately in the last couple weeks, and it's crazy. Like we're investing a little bit on SEO and like promoting it on different groups and stuff, but nothing crazy, right? Like nothing like I don't know if they're going paid advertisement. That's something that I gotta check, but this is a good hack. So you say the best performing YouTube videos, put them into a $1 a day promotion. That's super doable, easy.
You can spend more than $1 a day,
but that's even that.
Yeah, $1 a day will get you measurably more subscribers.
Okay, perfect. This is something that you see, like I kind of had it in mind because of like the Gary Vee thing, but then I didn't think to tell Jason, right? I was like, hey, Jason, look, let's do this in the podcast. Because that could be a very easy, because we have we're posting now starting on October 31st. We're gonna start posting every hour of the day for 24-hour cycle. Because we're using a lot of kind of like what you're saying of the courseware videos, a lot of community videos too. So what are they doing? They went to you're part of the community. I don't know if you've seen, you should check it out. That they're doing, like, they're taking people to, if you want to do content and just post it on the channel, that way, you get the exposure of the channel and being part of the community, and then it links to you. So it will have Boxer Media or whatever, right? If you're creating the content, and goes to you. And the idea is to create this community where Jason's mind is, look, I want to make 20 people $1 million. So like I make $20 million, and then because of affiliate marketing, then if he can get 10%, 5% of that, like that's like 10%, $2 million, like of 20, right?
I'll volunteer for that.
So that's what we're doing now. And now that we're posting every hour on the hour.
Mm-hmm.
And also now we're doing another strategy that we're cooking right now, is every 15 minutes, we're going to have little like commercials that are going to get posted into this playlist that's going to be like commercials. And every 15 minutes, there's a new commercial coming out. Yeah. And you can just go and see where's people promoting? Let's say all these things. So we're taking this to a news channel almost, right? And that's why I asked you, because I'm so invested on that part that I'm not invested in my social media and stuff, because I'm trying to use the resources, time, money, and all that, right? And that's why I ask, because it's most times it's not that we don't know what to do, it's just having to strategize. So because a lot of times we spend time, at least I know I do, just trying to strategize what to do. After I know what to do, taking action is easy. It's just just stop getting distracted, focus, take action. You already know what to do. Sometimes when we have all these different things, we have to put them on a strategy. That's why I'm asking, because I heard so many different things and I just haven't commit to one. And I know that I just have to commit to a strategy and just do it. And I'm doing the podcast already, obviously very committed to this part. Now is I had a social media manager that we're not working together anymore, because it's just, I don't know, we were doing trade and we just stopped trading. So just kind of, it's just, the term was done, right? And now I'm looking for other ideas. So that's why I'm looking at you, right? I'm looking hey, can you help me out with this, or at least a strategy? Because I see the podcast, I'm doing it so well that I want to have other channels too, right? Not just podcast good, the YouTube, but there's so many other things that I can do. That's why it's what to prioritize is a big, it's a big question all the time.
That's always hard. And whenever I do some coaching as well, and anytime I'm advising someone on their business and they're struggling with something like that, you have to commit to something. And it's hard. It's super hard. And it was hard for me. It was hard for me to commit to, it's for us, we focus on coaches and consultants. And we recently, I've been doing marketing consulting for over a decade. I've done consulting with Johnson & Johnson, with Intel, with the Golden Globes. So I can do marketing. And to focus on our 4 core competencies was very difficult for me. And oftentimes it feels like you're cutting your own legs off at the knee, right? Because you're but I can do this and this also. I can also do this. I can help these people. But if you're helping everybody, right, then no one particular person is going to really resonate with that message. It's too broad. Alex Hormozy has a brilliant, in that it's super simple, a brilliant strategy for this. Until you get to 7 figures, you have one product that serves one avatar on one channel. Full stop. That's it.
No, and I completely agree with that.
It's so hard to do.
Yeah, because some people come to you and it's you came as a referral. I'm definitely not targeting you with my marketing, but I can't help, right? And it becomes tricky. And I know, I tell myself this all the time, folk, and I tell my team, not because we can help them means that we should help them. Right. I tell them all the time, because people come to us, especially the referrals part. That's just the big part, because we're marketing to our target, right? That's obviously we're doing that part, but then the referrals part, you can control that, right? And then they come in warm, ready to pay and stuff. It's damn, it becomes hard. And then usually also referrals most people don't know how to qualify them, right? So they're just all of the praise. And yeah, I'm dealing with a couple of cases right now that I'm damn, you kind of like, you're starting a movement, you're doing this, but you're kind of outside of it, right? So it's kind of like a gray line. And I'm like, we're discussing with the team. We're like, I don't know, because we don't want to move away from what we're doing because it's working so well, right? So yeah, I get it. But then for the content, right? Like there's so many content ways to do it, right? Like, and I think obviously video king. From there, you do everything else. But then I've been thinking about, okay, what if I just commit to webinars? And I keep saying like, well, like I just have to have the strategy so that way when I commit to it, I just keep doing it. Then like I haven't done the webinar yet, right? So I'm like, because I just being like, I have a friend that wants to do it and we talk about it, we haven't scheduled it, we haven't done it. All right. And then I'm thinking, should I be doing that or should I be like separating an hour a week to just record minute clips and then get my admin to do written and that's it, right? Or like take the podcast and then or just go on a podcast tour and be way more intentional about it, right? Because if I ask people that they'll get me on podcast, right? I can ask you and you'll probably get me on your podcast, right? So those are the things. So how do you tell your clients to what to focus on? I mean, how do you guide them on all these different options that they have?
So to be clear, right, my primary role in Boxer media and growth marketing with our clients is as a marketing strategist. I'm not a business guru. I don't claim to be. I'm not Alex Hormozy. I'm not a multimillionaire. We do very well, frankly, but I'm not in the business of giving out a lot of business advice. I try to stick to my own lane, which is marketing. But when I do work with my clients, like I said, what I focus on is the 4 pieces of the puzzle: the business goals, the product itself, the platform that the product is marketed on, and the customer or the client, right? And if you can figure out where those 4 pieces, if you can find alignment with those 4 pieces, then that's a strategy that will work.
Yeah. And I'm not, I was, the question was very like just content, like nothing, no business development, no nothing, right? Like just content, right? Because so do you have any like advice on the content way to do things? Because I'm like business development, everything, obviously there's so much to it, but I just want to know like the content part, right? Because that part is where I'm personally, and I know a lot of people too, that it's like, look, I know I can do content, I have done all this, everything. I just don't know what strategy to commit to, right? The content strategy.
So there's a couple things on that. In terms of the content itself, right? Topical, the topics of the content that you're creating. If you're struggling to come up with ideas to talk about, my favorite website to go, and we have clients that struggle with this and we send them ideas, answerthepublic.com.
I heard about something similar. Is this the one that creates like a it's like this is the center words and this is all related to it, right?
Yeah. And basically what it is it's a website that has the back end of the website. I think Neil Patel recently purchased it, but the back end of the website crawls Google predictive text. So it will tell you what people are searching for on Google, right? So for you, PR article, right? You might type in PR article on there and it will tell you what people are searching for around that topic, which is content that you're going to want to create because it's content that people are searching for. They actively want to know more about this.
And then I'm thinking, okay, so because I'm trying to develop the strategy right now, right? Like, so answerthepublic.com. From there, I want to create content to answer those questions. And then I want to be very intentional about the captions with the keywords, especially with TikTok now that I've heard great things. I don't know if you heard about like SEO in TikTok is a big focus right now. Like TikTok is pushing SEO on words that you're saying, writing, captions, and everything. So is that correct?
Yeah, 100%. TikTok is indexed in Google now. Here's the thing about captions and keywords. If you're creating content intentionally to add value to your ideal client or customer, you don't need to worry about stuffing keywords into captions. They're already going to be there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because if you're
being intentional about the content that you're creating, the keyword's going to be there anyway.
Yeah. I guess it's just after you pick the words and then you start answering, then that should just come out natural. So then what do you have to say about hashtags? I guess that's a question.
Hashtags are all right. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a big social media guy myself. I'm just not on it that much. I don't know, as a marketer, I don't know how many people are searching TikTok for hashtag.
So the hashtag just, it's like if you put in the search, hashtags just like get like, there's just like a tag of like, but you don't have to have hashtag something to search for. I mean, you could, and obviously it goes directly to the hashtag, but you can also just say it's like tag strategist and without hashtag, and then the post that have a hashtag comes up, same thing. And that I'm always thinking about this, like, should I even pay attention too much to the hashtags or not, right? Like, it's just something that some people say like, oh, they're vital, and some people is like, you know what, like it doesn't matter, like, you know. So
We use hashtags in every single post that we do.
every single post. And do you have like do you create like this is are my hashtags on my clients and I use them, or like, you know, do you use like 20, do you use 3?
Yep. So we have hashtags that we use specifically for individual clients, and then we will also include hashtags for the given content in a given piece of content. So for each post, right? Because one post might be about topic X and another post might be about topic Y. So we'll want to include hashtags that are relevant to that, in addition to the hashtags that are relevant to this specific client. In terms of how many to use, that is platform dependent, right? For example, on Facebook, people don't typically search for hashtags on Facebook. Whereas Instagram, TikTok, people are searching for hashtags. LinkedIn, sometimes people will search for hashtags, but it doesn't happen super duper often.
But again, like what it does, what I've heard about LinkedIn is just searching the word, right? Like, and that goes to the hashtag, right? Because that's the communication. That's why I'm always like, shit, like, I guess I can just get the hashtags from the everything. I'm gonna just start here because I forgot about this, to be honest. I keep forgetting like the answer to the public. I've been told like at least 3 times over the course of like 2 years. And so then if you stem from that, and then those questions, those words are like, okay, I'm gonna be talking about this. These are gonna be my hashtags. Then I'm gonna be intentional about it, right? And then everything. I think that's gonna do. You see, like, I know these things. It's just the strategy, man. It's just putting it all together.
For sure. And so the other thing with hashtags, while we're on that, is it's really easy to get wrapped up in hashtags and think, you know, if I'm, as a marketing agency strategist, it's easy for me to make a piece of content and post it on to TikTok with hashtag marketing tips, right? But the real question is, how many users of TikTok are searching for marketing tips? Right?
I mean, I don't know.
So, I mean, the answer right now, I don't know off the top of my head either. But the point is, when you're thinking about the hashtags to use in a caption for a given piece of content, don't think about what makes sense for your content. Think about put yourself in the shoes.
Who's searching, right? Like
for the person who's searching. What are they going to be searching for? Right.
I think about like that, but then it's tricky. It's like, okay, if I was whatever, right?
This is why Gary Vee says, and he said this for years now, he hires for empathy. He doesn't hire for hard skills. He hires for empathy, because VaynerMedia is a marketing agency, right? And empathy is easily the most important thing that a marketer can have, because then you're able to put yourself in the client's shoes and the customer's shoes. Think about your service from their point of view. You're going to be so much more effective in communicating the value that way, right?
Yeah.
It's the difference between, this is a classic example, it's the difference between Microsoft and Apple. Microsoft advertisement is going to tell you about all the features of the new version of Windows. Apple is going to tell you the benefits of the Apple lifestyle, right? It's going to feel, you're going to have a feeling with Apple, whereas with Microsoft, you're just looking at like data points. And that's kind of, I mean, it's a little bit abstract, but you can kind of bring that back to the hashtag idea, where you want to think about it from your ideal customer or your ideal client's point of view, what are they going to be looking for?
Yeah, yeah. Like I think about this often, and it's always like I need to keep reminding myself it's not from my point of view, right? Like, it's not like why am I posting about? It's what are people searching for, right? Like, what is the solution? What's the transformation that I'm selling, right? Like, what is the product that I'm selling, and take it from like, okay, if I wanted to look for this, what would I type, right? And it's always challenging. It's always like, especially in services, because in product, it's like, oh, if I have a product that is just a phone case, so like, phone case, right? Like, it's pretty straightforward sometimes, but with services, it's like, okay, if I have a tax strategist, or if I have like a consultancy firm, it's like, okay, what kind of problems was a business owner is looking for to get into here, right? That's when it gets very tricky. And obviously, that's why you do surveys. That's why you do everything like qualitative data instead of like quantitative data, right? So that's why it's very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, given all this information that we've covered in here, because I think we covered a lot of big things, and I think I already know what I'm gonna be doing I'm gonna just go to Answer the Public, and I'm just gonna take it from there. And then when it comes to, I'm gonna do 3 videos. So I'm gonna do 3 videos. I'm gonna record in one day, and then I'm going to prioritize them, the written with call to action. That's what is at least 3 to 5 if my admin can handle, because I have him with a lot of things right now. So at least 2 to 3, and then take it to 5 or more, right? So I think that's a pretty good plan to action, and I think it's a good plan to action to anybody in the audience too, to kind of take from this. So based on these things, what do you think are the biggest takeaways from this conversation, or maybe things that you haven't mentioned that you want to give to the audience before hopping off?
Well, one piece of this puzzle that I don't know that we've really quite touched on yet is going to be the platform, right? Platform is a big piece of the puzzle. And with that, you want to think about it in terms of meeting your customer where they're at, right? Is your ideal customer on Facebook, right? If your ideal customer is Gen Z, they're probably not spending a ton of time on Facebook. If your ideal customer is Gen X, like this guy, they're probably spending more time on Facebook, and same thing in terms of, is your ideal customer going to be on LinkedIn, right? If your ideal customer, if you're selling shoes, right, your ideal customer is probably not on LinkedIn, probably looking at Instagram or maybe TikTok or something like that. So that's one thing to consider with the platforms. Is this a video podcast as well?
Mm-hmm.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah. Actually, that is
cool
I think it makes it way cooler. So
got a good little graphic here that I think you guys might like.
Yeah, you're allowed to share your screen, all right. Boom. Oh, okay, that is good. I've been talking with my team about making it more visual, so thanks for helping out with that.
Okay. So essentially, right? So this is what we do. You get a video. We start with video. Drop it into the inbox. From there, we create video clips and create a description, and it gets blown out to all these places. And so again, this is going back to the platform topic, right? Thinking about this in terms of, where is my ideal customer? If your ideal customer is not on LinkedIn, you don't need to post to LinkedIn. So we do video clips, audio clips, right? Again, this can be an entire podcast, and you can blow this out to wherever you download podcasts and just make an entire podcast from these videos. Take the transcription, make a LinkedIn article, a PR article, website, blog post. Here's the podcast there. And then pulling out specific quotes, right? Doing quote cards and posting those everywhere. And then, of course, taking the full video, right? You've recorded it. And if you just riffed on a topic for 15 minutes, why not make that a piece of content itself and post that on YouTube, for example, right? Grow your YouTube channel. And over the course of 6 months, like we talked about before, look at your stats in YouTube Studio, figure out what's performing well, and promote it for $1 a day, or $5 a day, or $10 a day, whatever you can afford. Anybody can afford $1 a day. It's $30 a month. Do that. 100% do that.
This is great. I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss, because I'm like, the easiest way to me to visualize this is what we're doing with SAP, because we're not really leveraging much audio clips. We're going mainly from podcasts, videos is the main source. From there, there's a couple quotes where we're doing quote cards for Jason. Then we're doing like just posting, so they come out, and then after they come out, the social media posting, it's kind of like behind, right? Because we post twice a day for 5 days a week, podcasts. Then we post every day the quote cards, and then from there, now we're doing like small clips, and then like the delay on the social media, because obviously we're posting so much, and then we post one, so there's always like a behind, which is cool because it's like, okay, we're releasing it, and then after this release and we kind of like announce it, then there's like the reminder, right? Kind of like, hey, like we did this, and it goes into social media. So trying to like I think we're doing a lot of that. I need to pass it on to me too, instead of just to my clients, right? It's just like the development and all that stuff, like, right? It's just priorities, man. Priorities. It's always priorities.
It is. It takes time to build out the processes, right? And to build out that machine and make it, so that it works well. We use Zapier a lot for automating notifications for different people for different steps along the process. I'll share this one real quick too. This is kind of, remember I told you it was originally called Authority Amplifier.
Yeah, that's it. Hey man, this is pretty cool.
So this is kind of what this looks like, right? You're the authority. You take your video, you drop it into YouTube, and then all of this stuff happens. Here's the audio getting transcribed, and we pull quote cards from it, edited for blog article and post. We pull engaging questions, we design social media cards. The video is cut into bite-sized pieces. The full video is edited. Summary is written for the description, optimized for YouTube. All that goes into this amplifier, right?
This is pretty cool.
And it gets posted, and then here's all the platforms, right, that we can post on. From your blog, we can take that blog to spin that text and use it as part of your email newsletter. I mean, the opportunities for repurposing 1 10-minute video or 5-minute video even is not endless, but there's a lot of opportunities for repurposing. And
yeah, like I mean, this is great. And I know all these different things, but I just want to make sure that I like, because I know like there's a couple of things always like missing in like refreshers, right? And that's why what I was looking for here, and it was great. So I just I know there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be like, hey, like I gotta talk to this guy, right? So so how can people find you?
Yeah, boxer.agency is the website. Not .com, not .com, just boxer.agency. There's the contact form there that'll go directly to me. Or if you want to just shoot me an email directly, it's michael@boxer.agency. I'm also on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/strategy cowboy.
Cowboy. I saw the picture. It makes sense. So man, thanks for taking the time. I know that I'm gonna be talking to you again, because I want to see if there's ways that you can help me out in certain things, because I have like some pretty cool stuff, and just want to tell you what I'm doing for myself, for my clients, and all that. And I think I got great takeaways. I know that I'm gonna go to answerthepublic.com for sure today, get some ideas from there, and kick it off from there. So thank you, man. Thank you.
I challenge you, Fu. Go to answerthepublic.com today, get some ideas from there, get 5 ideas, and put those into a content calendar.
I have a Trello board that my admin is using, so I can throw them there.
Just something so that you can keep track, so that next Monday when it comes time to record new content, you're not sitting there wondering what you should record, because you've already got it. So
just always just like 2 weeks ago, have it there, and then just if it's timely stuff, just fit it in quick if I can. But there's always a continuation. Perfect. Thanks, man.
Make it easy for yourself so you don't have to feel motivated.
Yeah, because I know that's it's one of those things that I just want to get better at, and this is the times that I have to force myself to level up. So thanks, Michael, for taking the time. I think this is great, and I just look forward for my message because I want to hit you up again. So and then
if anyone listening or watching wants a free strategy session, it's boxer.agency/20, and that'll book a half-hour call with me. I'm happy to talk with you about your strategy and help anybody out.
Perfect. No problem. Okay, so this was Michael Pacheco and Fu, and this is us signing off.
Thanks, guys.
To Moments with Fu with your host, Fu. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we will see you on the next episode.